Man, I'll never forget the night it all went down. My husband, Tyler, looked me dead in the eyes like he'd been practicing this line in the mirror all day. "You're replaceable," he said, all casual, like it was no big deal. Like I was just another random app on his damn phone he could delete anytime. I laughed at first. Yeah, I laughed, 'cause I thought it was some twisted joke. But the smirk on his face said otherwise. He meant it, every damn word. We'd been married 6 years. I'd put up with his late nights, his crappy mood swings, his obsession with work and stupid fantasy football. I'd kept the house together, paid the bills, handled the bullshit. And here he was, dropping the ultimate betrayal on me like it was nothing. I didn't yell, I didn't cry, I just sat there, letting his words sink in. Replaceable. The word echoed in my brain over and over. And slowly, a cold, sharp thought started creeping in. If I'm replaceable, maybe he is too. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat on the edge of our king-size bed, staring at him snoring, totally oblivious. My mind was racing, every insult, every lie, every time he made me feel small over the years. I was done feeling powerless. By sunrise, I knew what I had to do, but this wasn't gonna be some petty, dump him move. No, this had to be clean, precise, satisfying. I started small. I paid attention to everything: his habits, his friends, his work contacts. I watched him text that girl from his office, the one he always pretended was just a coworker. I saved every damn screenshot, every flirty emoji, every little compliment he thought he could hide. The more I dug, the more I realized something terrifying: Tyler was sloppy. Reckless. He thought I was naive, blind, gullible. And he was about to find out he picked the wrong woman to mess with. By the time the sun hit the kitchen, I had a plan forming. A slow, deliberate plan. One that would make him feel the exact fear and betrayal he made me feel. But this wasn't about revenge for the fun of it. This was about control, about justice, about showing him in the cruelest, most calculated way possible that he was never, ever untouchable. And that's when I smiled. A real smile. Not the fake, forced one I'd worn for him for years. This one was sharp, cold, full of promise. The game had begun. The next morning, Tyler strutted into the kitchen like nothing happened, whistling some dumb tune like he owned the world. I poured my coffee, smiling like a freaking angel, hiding the storm brewing inside me. "You okay?" he asked, giving me that half smirk, half sneer he always does when he thinks he's clever. "Never better," I said, calm as hell. "You," he shrugged, scrolling through his phone, totally oblivious. That's when I knew he had no clue. Not even a shred. And that's exactly how I wanted it. Over the next few days, I played the part of the perfect, naive wife. I laughed at his dumb jokes, kept the house spotless, and even complimented his god-awful taste in suits. Every smile, every nod, every "you're right, babe" I threw at him was like laying down a breadcrumb trail. Little did he know, it was leading straight into my trap. I started gathering intel. His work emails, the girl in accounting, his side networking dinners. Every detail went into my little black notebook. Every slip-up he made, every secret he thought was safe, I noted it. And Tyler. He spilled like a damn fountain, thinking I was too stupid to notice. Then came the first taste of chaos. One evening, Tyler bragged about this big meeting he had, the one where he was gonna pitch a new project and make some serious career moves. He casually mentioned he'd be out late, leaving me home alone. Perfect. I grabbed my laptop and fired off a few emails, anonymous of course. A little hint here, a little nudge there. By the next morning, his big meeting had turned into a mess. His so-called confidential project proposal ended up in the wrong hands. Panic, confusion, whispers. His face when the office called him at 7 a.m., frantic and fumbling, was priceless. But that was just round one. Round two, that would sting a hell of a lot more. I found his credit card statements, dug into his online purchases, and started connecting dots. Tyler had been living a double life, not just with his little office fling, but with secret trips, dinners, and some shady business, deals he thought I'd never discover. I didn't confront him yet. No, confrontation is for amateurs. Real power comes from watching him squirm, clueless, while you pull the strings. I wanted Tyler to feel that creeping paranoia, that whisper in the back of his mind telling him he's about to get burned. And while he laughed at his own jokes and drank his overpriced whiskey, I mapped out the next moves, each one sharper than the last. By the time I slid into bed that night, I wasn't thinking about revenge, I was thinking about art. This was a masterpiece in the making. And Tyler, he was about to be the canvas. Tyler thought he was untouchable. He thought he could walk through life leaving a trail of lies and still come out clean. He had no idea I'd been building a storm around him, one he couldn't dodge. It started small, almost unnoticeable. I sent anonymous tips to a few of his coworkers, subtle hints about his big meeting secrets. By lunch, whispers started floating around the office. Tyler's phone buzzed nonstop, his texts from confused colleagues piling up. His confident smirk started to wobble. I watched from my desk at home, sipping iced tea, pretending to scroll through emails. My phone dinged with another message. Tyler's freaking out. "Did you leak the proposal?" I grinned. I didn't answer. Let them sweat. Let him twist and turn in his own mess. Next, I hit him where it hurt the most, his reputation. I compiled screenshots, receipts, texts, everything showing his little side fling with the girl in accounting. Not just flirty texts, the kind that screamed cheating and shady. I sent a carefully worded anonymous tip to HR. By mid-afternoon, chaos hit. HR called Tyler in for an urgent discussion. He came home that evening pale, muttering about meetings, warnings, and investigations. "You okay?" I asked, casual as hell, leaning against the kitchen counter. He looked at me, panic flashing in his eyes. I don't know what's happening," he stammered. I smiled, slow and deliberate. "Sounds stressful," I said. "Wish I could help." But I didn't. I wanted him to stew, to feel the creeping paranoia that had been my constant companion for years. The difference? I was in control, not Tyler. Then came the public humiliation. Tyler had always bragged about being the perfect husband on social media, flashy dinners, weekend trips, all for show. I created a fake account, masked and professional. I posted screenshots of his flirty texts, hints of his secret spending, little breadcrumbs of lies he couldn't explain. By the next morning, his phone exploded. Notifications, comments, DMs, everyone in his social circle was talking. He was being called out, mocked, questioned. His image of perfection crumbled in real time. And the best part, he had no clue who was behind it. Every time he looked at me, suspicious, I smiled sweetly, all innocence. "Who, me?" I'd say, batting my eyes like a fool. Tyler's world was unraveling. Every lie he'd spun, every betrayal he'd committed was now bouncing back at him. And I was just getting started. By bedtime, he sat on the couch, silent, drained, scared. He finally looked at me, really looked. And for the first time in years, I saw fear in his eyes. Not anger, not arrogance. Fear. And that, my friends, is exactly how revenge feels when it's finally in motion. By the time the weekend rolled around, Tyler was a ghost of himself. The confident, cocky man who'd called me replaceable was now pacing the house like a cornered animal. Every ding from his phone made him flinch. Every message from a coworker, a friend, a relative drove him deeper into panic. "Tyler," I said one morning, leaning casually against the doorway, coffee in hand. "You look stressed." He glared at me, teeth gritted. "This is a nightmare." "People are, what's going on?" I smiled, the same slow, sharp smile I'd been perfecting for days. "I don't know, maybe karma has a funny way of showing up." I didn't say it, but inside I was laughing. Sweet, dark laughter that echoed everything I'd felt since he uttered that disgusting word. Replaceable. I started expanding the pressure. The anonymous account I'd made for evidence leaks began posting hints on LinkedIn and Instagram. Small things at first, a screenshot of him leaving work early, a hint at a shady deal, a flirty text out of context. By now, Tyler was sweating bullets every time his notifications pinged. Then came the friends. Tyler had a tight-knit group who always thought he was flawless. I sent private messages to them, carefully curated, anonymous, painting a picture of his lies, the cheating, the reckless spending. By Friday, they were whispering behind his back, questioning everything about him. He tried to fight it, tried to deny, tried to tell people, it's not what it looks like, but the seed was planted. And seeds grow fast, especially when watered with a little truth. The worst part, he couldn't figure out the source. Every time he looked at me, his suspicion flared, but he could never pin it on me. "How is she always calm?" he muttered one night, pacing in front of me like a caged lion. I let him stew. Oh, I let him stew. Then came the final piece of part 4, the family dinner. His parents, his sister, and even a few close friends showed up. I dressed sharp, calm, collected, the picture of composure. Tyler, he was pale, jittery, trying to smile, trying to play it cool. But the messages, the rumors, the social media posts had already done their damage. Everyone was glancing at him differently. And then, just as dessert hit the table, my phone pinged with the final confirmation. Someone in his circle had cross-referenced my anonymous posts with his financial and social mishaps. They'd started connecting the dots, and Tyler was officially panicked. He looked at me across the table, wide-eyed. You can't." I just sipped my tea and smiled. Calm, cold, ruthless. "Oh, I already did." That's when the first cracks started showing in public. Tyler stammered, his words tripping over themselves. Friends exchanged looks. His parents' faces went from confusion to mild horror. And I sat there, perfectly composed, enjoying every damn second. Because this wasn't revenge yet. This was just the opening act. By Monday, Tyler was unraveling fast. The confident guy who had called me replaceable was now a walking mess, jittery, pale, and constantly checking his phone like it might explode in his hand. Every notification, every comment, every message was a dagger twisting deeper. I didn't rush it. Revenge isn't about speed, it's about precision. I let him simmer in fear, let him squirm under the weight of every lie he'd ever told, every betrayal he thought he could get away with. The tipping point came when I dropped the big one, the proof of his fling, the financial misdeeds, and the manipulations. Carefully, I compiled everything into a sleek little package, nothing sloppy, all undeniable. And I sent it, anonymously, of course, to every person in his professional network, to family, even to a few mutual friends who had long suspected him of shady behavior. By mid-afternoon, the fallout hit like a freight train. Work emails bounced back. Calls flooded in from confused colleagues. Friends started asking questions. And his family, oh man, they weren't subtle. Texts, calls, a few showing up at the house unannounced, all demanding answers he didn't have. Tyler stumbled into the living room, panic written all over his face. What did you do?" I leaned against the doorway, coffee in hand, calm as a monk. "Do what?" I asked innocently, letting the tension hang in the air. He shook his head, eyes wide, voice breaking. "Don't play dumb. Everyone knows. My reputation, it's gone. How did this happen?" I smiled, sharp, cold. Funny, isn't it? One little word, replaceable, and suddenly everything flips. His jaw dropped. You can't." "Oh, I already did," I said, letting the words sink. "You spent years treating me like I didn't matter, like I was nothing. And you thought you were untouchable. Guess what? Karma has a way of catching up." Tyler slumped into the couch, defeated, the fight drained out of him. And for the first time, I saw regret, pure, unfiltered, gut-wrenching regret. The kind of regret that comes only when someone realizes they've underestimated the person they hurt most. I walked over, sat beside him, soft but firm. "You know, Tyler, you called me replaceable. But here's the truth. No one replaces me, and you, well," I let that hang. "You just got a taste of your own medicine." He didn't argue, he didn't beg. He just stared, silent, consumed by the chaos he'd created for himself. And I finally felt the release I'd been craving for years. Not just revenge power, control. Justice served cold. That night, as I locked the door and watched him sit alone, scrolling through the messages, the notifications, the evidence of his own downfall, I knew something. I wasn't just reclaiming respect, I was reclaiming me. And Tyler, he'd learned the hard way that no one is untouchable. Not him, not anyone.